Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Anton Obey. Thank you for stopping by the collection room. Taking a look at some comics today. This is Femforce 21 through 24. I made a mistake and I realized I had some of these a little bit out of order because I've already done 25 through 28. So I apologize for that, but I came back as quick as I could and corrected it. So here it is 21 through 24. And we are still in the black and white era. Hardy Hike, looks like who's who are doing our cover. It's a good cover. And as I said, we are in the black and white era of Femforce. This is post-color. As I always say, they did everything they could to keep publishing, and sometimes they couldn't afford full-color issues. Sometimes they could afford larger, thicker issues. And sometimes they could afford color and, you know, so on and so forth. Sometimes they had different sized books. So, you know, they did what they could as best they could. We've got Story and Art by Anthony Oshmago. Not familiar with that one, but with Femforce, man, it is pretty hard to tell when they skip around through artists, because they have such a definitive house style. And they keep everything looking similar enough that it's not like, oh, you know, terrible, terrible difference. There is clearly differences in the artwork, but it's not like, and I always use the example of Barry Windsor-Smith. There's nothing you're going to see that looks like that in here, because he couldn't draw Femforce. The way he draws, it doesn't lend itself to the round, full-figured, vintage, hair and bangs, buxom type art style that this book always had. And it's not going to happen. And as much as I love, like, even Jim Lee, I couldn't see Jim Lee drawing this book. It would never look like Femforce is supposed to look. And I could list a lot of artists that I really like, that I just couldn't see doing it. And so there's definitely their own style. There's definitely their own look to their women, their heroes, their hair, their fashion styles, the era. There's just like a design to it. And it seems like they do a very good job at keeping that pretty even keeled across the line. And we don't get too far off the beaten path of what we expect out of our Femforce comics. This is better than some. I actually love this guy's. He's got a lot of action going on per panel and a lot of dynamic movement in it. And it looks really good. It's not overcrowded. It's pretty easy to tell what's going on. And in black and white books, that is a thing that can happen. You can have too much going on in an issue or in a panel, and it can make it hard to, at least for me, to visually look at and break down what's happening, because it's all black and white, and yet there's so much texture or detail in a page that sometimes it can be kind of hard to make out. So that said, this is looking very, very good. I think some people are more adept at working in the black and white medium than others. And this guy looks to be quite good at it. Epilogue, The Nightmare. Broken Hand. Paragon presents The Shade. I always thought they used a weird font for most of their stuff, but it is what it is. The Nightmare, next issue. That's a pretty cool back cover. Looks like Rad getting handed to her by a bunch of weird skeleton monsters. So, cool. And it looks vastly different on this cover. I'm actually going to lay that down there so you can remember what I just looked at. I like the colors used on the back of that actually better. The Nightmare. Are you afraid of the dark, or merely of the creatures that dwell within it? Yes, you laugh and smile during the day, but the night belongs to him. It's your time to shape and mold the dark visions which pierce your chest, crush your heart, and but we're all mature individuals here. We know that there's absolutely nothing to fear because it's only a nightmare. So a very cool, sensual opening page there with a great lead off. And it almost looked like she should be drooling out of the side of that mouth now. Joan Wayne, I have come for you. Who sleeps with lipstick on like that? Looks like that would be problematic. Okay, so we are definitely borrowing some imagery from Nightmare on Elm Street, which means we got to look at the year 1989. So these started publishing in 1985, so we're a few years in. And our writer and artist has definitely recently seen Nightmare on Elm Street. Can't blame him. It's a great film, but I'm seeing several tip-offs and images that we would recognize from that film, so that is the thing. Cold kid, I'm shot. She actually shot me. Feels like 2 pages there. I also love how this book doesn't have a bunch of ads in it, so. Oh, got some crazy dreamscape stuff going on here. We've got Tara. Captain Paragon. Whole bunch of stuff going on with that. And these are actually very beautifully done pages. Kind of crazy, but it's not a dream, it's a nightmare. We got the other Miss Victory popping in. Oh, can't have that. Yeah, just lean them there, and sometimes they fall down. I hate that, but got some beautiful pages coming on here. There is no refuge. Sanctuary is but an intangible dream in the night, and I am the night, the black shroud. Ha 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 ha. Meanwhile, back at HQ, a little bit weirder of an artist going on here. Definitely with a weird backside story. Did this guy just get shot in the head? Wow. I feel hell from that. We got the boys who make the book. Left or right? Bill Black. There he is. They're over on your left side. There's the man who pretty much ran this book for a long time. And we get a Cave Girl reprint in the back. That's always great. I love Cave Girl reprints. These are all from Fight Comics by Fiction House. Most of them are. And they give you these really cool vintage comic stories going on. Irish McCullough. TV Sheena. She-Cat, Wanted for Murder. Issue 23. Rad against everybody, because she's a very antagonistic character, good or bad, so. Shootsky. You know what? I'll have to put a board up for you then. Probably should have done that to begin with. I unbag these things because it's a pain to try and unbag in a video. And these are one of the few comics that I like consistently still bag and board. They're just hard enough to get. I don't want to have to track them down again. And bagging and boarding, I'm kind of over it with most your standard fare. It's just not worth it. Because I'm not selling them. Our art has changed. It has gone a little goofy on us. Not my favorite. It is serviceable. I'm not going to say it's bad. But it does look a little bit of the parody type mentality. which I don't think this is a parody type story, so probably didn't need to go into the parody style. And it's apparently cold there. It's very cold there. That's all I can tell. Extremely freezing. That's a good big... This book never shies away from face punching. There is so much face punching. If you look through your comics, I know there's a lot of fighting in superhero books. There's a lot of energy blast. There's a lot of things like that. Femforce, man, they punch the face a lot. There's a lot of face punching. And it's not like lame face punching. It's like graphic, like really, really hard. You see like a lot of like blood or swollen face, and they do not shy away from that. There's some Black Venom. Cliffhanger serials, my bad. Crazy stuff. Yeah, I love the ads in the back of a Femforce. It's just great. This is the same ad that was in the back of the other one. And I'm going to throw these gals back up there. They'll just lay there. Look at issue 24 here, and that'll get me caught back up on my series. And I, once again, apologize for being off on that. Little message from Bill Black right in the front there. I always love that. He's kind of the Stan Lee of AC Comics, only, you know, I think a little less. Well, he's clearly not as annoying as Stan Lee could be at times. He doesn't seem to be quite as arrogant in different ways. And don't get me wrong, I love Stan Lee, but, you know how it could be. Ripjaw, Valkyra, Lone Star, Kalema, Shred, Frostbite. Quirky little names for villains there. Is she huge? Is she flying close to the screen? Is that booze? I don't know. I do love this art. We have jumped into some killer art here, and it makes me wonder who our artist is for these books this go around. If it's going to tell us, I have to flip back. It doesn't look like it's going to tell us. All right, well, it's not going to tell us who the artist is, but make of this picture what you will, whether she is actually giant or if she is flying or what, and why she has a bottle in her hand. But it's good art. I'm going to say it either way. Definitely a classic Femforce style. I'm almost wondering if it's Bill Black himself. A couple of ads. Oh my gosh, I would have loved a full-size Femforce poster. Teen Femforce, never heard of that. Inks by Mark Probst. Probst, whatever his name is. The art's a little different there. I've never seen a teen version of Femforce. That's kind of odd. That's a nice. Blow it out your ear. Big, nice, ham-fisted fight scene right there. Sure to be accompanied by a bunch of face punching. Yeah, very graphic fights. They did not pull any punches when it comes to the fights. And then this guy, I mean, I've seen him bite somebody's face off. It's nasty. He's awful. All I'm doing is taking you in. Looks like it wraps up pretty much another rad story. Our epilogue. Not my favorite artist on this book, but it's definitely pretty good. Stella turned her into a child. And then there is issue 25. That is where I should leave off, and that is where I should have been, but I accidentally somehow skipped these issues. Well, I have corrected that. I have rectified that situation. Those are in the lineup now, and this episode is in the books. Thank you so much for watching. That's my story. Catch you guys later. Bye.